Oh, geez, here we go. Mr. Frank Conniff, thank you so much. I'm so glad that I could, we're going to hear that dinging. I'm so glad that I could rope you into doing this show. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm getting that a little, I know it sounded a little tantalizing.
Talk slower, please.
Please talk slower with this one. Now, I don't even, every time I open my eyes or I blink, somebody else's, it's a breeding ground, a cesspool, male toxicity in not only our industry, but it's ubiquitous. Anyway, that's another show. I want to thank you so much for doing this with me. And look what I'm wearing, Frank. Check this out. I thought you would appreciate this.
Oh, very nice.
That's right.
Very nice.
This is to commemorate the late, great Mr. Milton Glaser. Now, I know a lot of people may know Milton. A lot of people don't know Milton. FYI, the song that you hear at the beginning of the show is actually Milton Glaser's niece, Gabby Glaser, who used to be in the band Luscious Jackson. She actually played guitar, and that's her song that's playing in the beginning, Balls Out. We love that song. Frank, I know that you know about everything, but you especially know about Milton. For the people that know nothing about Milton Glaser, I kind of want to give him a little bit of a eulogy.
Well, in his obituaries, the first thing they all wrote about was that he designed the I Love New York logo. Which and the reason everyone mentioned it is because it looks so good on you.
That's right. Because nothing. Yeah, I think it really, Frank, you really know how to flatter me. Okay, and I'm this close to letting go of my husband in COVID. Okay, because I can't take him. Now you're growing out your hair. I think that this is it. Okay, because I'm loving this hair. Now, Frank, first of all, I want to address that I am. It was a very scary time for you almost a year ago. You have
almost
a huge
exactly a year ago. Yeah,
almost a year ago, you had a quadruple, hate to brag, bypass surgery.
Yes,
and I want to say, Frank, I went for a walk with you, and I actually train people. That's what I do. And you almost gave me a fucking heart attack. I couldn't keep up with you. Seriously, Frank.
Well, it is something I'm very grateful for, because it was exactly a year ago today. I was at home recovering from my surgery, and the doctors told me, you have to go for a walk every day.
Oh my gosh.
It was like such a struggle to even do that, to walk a half a block to Carl Schurz Park and back, like just took everything out of me. And so now a year later, I'm walking like 5 miles in Central Park, and I'm walking upstairs in Carl Schurz Park.
Actually, you're leaving me in the dust. You're fast walking. It's ridiculous. Unless you were showing off, I was very impressed with your
Irene, I'm always trying to show off.
Okay. So I thought it had to. You have to make me feel good, because I'm a trainer and I couldn't keep up with you, Frank. This is ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just go in. This is our first show, the inauguration show. We're starting off with a major blast. This woman is one of my best friends in comedy. She's like my little sister. I started out with her. I saw her barking outside clubs, which I absolutely vehemently hated. And I saw her rise to the very top. You guys I'm so grateful to have her on the show here today. She's on standby. Let's just admit her. While I'm admitting her, I'm going to be telling you all the things that this woman did. And you'll probably, trust me, you'll probably know who she is already. You can see her on Always Be My Maybe, Ali Wong on Netflix. She's starring in The First Wives Club. She's the host of The Circle on Netflix. God damn it, she has her own comedy special coming out on Netflix. And now, as if that's not enough, she has her book out, Survival of the Thickest, the one and only, the beautiful, the lovely Michelle Buteau.
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, to hear.
I have to say, it is so nice to hear your voice, and you know that I mean that.
This is my little titty jig for Michelle. Every time I hear the word titty, there's only one girl I think about. My titty right here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Anytime I even meet a teenager, I'm like, do you know Irene? Because you should.
Michelle, you look absolutely gorgeous.
Yes,
okay, and
yes.
I know it's got to be hard for you, because first of all, when COVID struck, this must have been like a much needed furlough for you. You were busting your butt, sister.
I didn't even realize how much I was working and how much I was on a plane and how much people and surfaces and craziness I was touching and just in. And
right.
Yeah, man, I think the whole universe has just been like, we're tired.
Yeah,
So
we are.
you guys need a break. So shut it down. And yeah, man, and at first being stuck at home with my very lovely husband
and twins
and twin babies that are now toddlers and teething toddlers, just like running all over the place.
And
just
a dog. And a dog.
And a dog. And like a pony. She's my goal weight. We know this.
Wow, how are you conscious?
Oh my God, this is great. I can't stand it. Thank you. Oh, she's an antidepressant. An antidepressant. Look at that little face. Thank you, Heist. That's Michelle Buteau's beautiful husband and her beautiful daughter. Oh my gosh. This is and where's Otis? That was Hazel, and Otis is somewhere.
Because I tried to time this when they were taking a nap. Right. But you guys are just getting all the things right now. And
I love this.
And here's the baby, and here's the other baby of the family. Hello, Lorna.
Otis. Oh, wait a minute. That's
sorry.
Oh, sweetie.
It's the Lab Mastiff. It's the other important Black woman in my life because hashtag Black Dogs Matter.
They do.
But it's true. White dogs and beige dogs get adopted first, and the brown and black ones get put down first because people think they're scary.
That is exactly what I was just going to say. This is a legitimate fact that racism occurs with dogs. Okay,
I say that black dogs go to heaven, but racists say all dogs go to heaven.
That's.
I can't. Oh, Frank.
It's disgusting. Frank. It is so true. I think that chess is a racist game. Why do the white pawns always have to go first? Did you know that? How racist is fucking chess?
Girl. It has this racism has crept into every nook and cranny. We don't even realize. I mean, even when you watch a Disney movie, all the villains are dark. They come out at night. Yes. Everything. It's crazy. It's crazy. I remember being in the first grade, and my best friend at the time, this white girl. We both auditioned and we sang when the Saints Go Marching In. And the nuns were like, no, you ain't got it, but we'll put you in the First Testament play when God creates the earth, whatever. And so I was Let There Be Darkness, and she was Let There Be Light. And I was like, is that racist?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know where you're getting that from. I mean, seriously, the systemic racism. Yeah, I know exactly. Is crazy. Like it's just historically black hats are bad, white hats are good. I mean the symbolism of negativity when it comes to black and the positivity when it comes to white. And I love that we need to shift that.
It's so colonial. Does it happen in Greece? Like, because a lot of people think I look Greek, and I'm like, do Greek people look Puerto Rican?
Well, if we're lucky, okay. How's that? Sweetie, that's honestly, Greek people are they hate everybody. I must say that. You're not Greek, or they think everybody's Greek. That's what Greek people do. They see you, Michelle Buteau. Oh, this is Greek. You're Greek. You're Greek.
That's how. Yeah, that's how
want to claim you.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. They want to claim you. So Michelle, I mean, honestly, you've got so much going on, and I was just telling Frank before I brought you on that. Yeah. I remember when you were barking outside clubs, and now you are on the pinnacle.
You were my here's the other baby.
Oh, great.
Hi. Hi. Odie Bear, say hi. Hi. Okay. They just woke up from their nap. My friend Allison is in town from LA. She's been quarantining with us for a couple weeks and helping us with the babies. And
cool.
Man. Friendships are great.
They are great. Now, Michelle, how are you? It's almost like I feel like this wasn't really a break for me. You went from busting your ass in show business to busting your ass as a mother.
Yes.
And a wife.
I mean, it's funny because I'm the only child, and I've always been like, I'd love to have company. Wouldn't a full house be so fun? And now that I have a full house and a full life, and I'm just like, when can a bitch sit down and just stare at a wall? But it's also like I wouldn't have it any other way, It's like I feel like it's a privilege to complain about how tired I am because I'm you know, taking care of the people I love one way or another.
Oh, I love you so much. I love you, Michelle. I do. And that's why I mean it. I really do. I know that you wanted a family for so long, and you got these two beautiful angels. I told you I was psychic, sweetie. I know I told you that I had a couple of dreams that you, oh God. Well, Frank, if you don't mind me interjecting for 1 second, if you look you up on your IMDb, guess what it says? His star sign is Virgo. I was laughing my butt off. Like, they actually preface your star sign, Virgo.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, we know.
I am a Virgo.
Right back at you. Michelle, so tell us about your book. I really want to know about what's going on with you. I want to know first about, before the book, actually, let's pedal back to your comedy special that's coming out.
Oh my God. It's insane. You know, the comedy special, I'm so thankful that I taped it March 1st because Netflix and other places were like, we should do the end of March, give you more time to run it. But you know, once it's there, it's there. And for comedians, I know, especially single comedians or comedians that don't like their spouses, they like to go out 4 or 5 times, you know, in a night and put it up. And, you know, it's like tasting food. I'm like, I like it. I don't like it. I don't need to keep tasting it to figure out if I don't like it.
God, I love you.
Do you know, I'm like, the set is there. And so we
but that's
filmed it March 1st. And I only picked March 1st because it was my grandma's birthday. I'm going to show you a picture of her. Hi, Mavis Louise.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm not even into numerology or like any of that because I'm bad at math. But I'm like, oh, that's her birthday. That would be special. And thank God I got it in because 2 weeks later, the world was essentially shut down. And so I was able to get that check. And also, the material is going to be out this year. You know, like Ali Wong and a bunch of other people who are like running their material the whole year, touring to tape a special. And now it's shut down for at least a year and a half, maybe 2, for them to even do it again. I don't even know. I don't think people understand how long it takes to get material that you love, that you could put up, that it takes so long. It's not a song. It takes
forever.
It does.
You know, George Carlin.
You make it look easy.
George Carlin, it took him 3-4 years to do his HBO specials. He didn't just churn them out, you know.
Exactly. Like, especially if you don't have writers, and I know a lot of people have, right? And I'm not, no shade to that, but, you know, true, authentic stand-up in your voice takes a good amount of time. And so...
And it can only be developed in front of an audience. That's the only way you can, there is literally no other way to develop your stand-up than in front of an audience. So it's very hard right now because comedians, you know, we can't go up and practice our craft. You know, when this pandemic is over, like you said, a long time from now, in a way, we're going to have to all start from scratch. I don't even think I can do my old act anymore. I don't remember any of it. You know?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these people they were counting on this money for the special that they were supposed to tape. Right. And now they have to sort of not only reinvent themselves, but figure out how to live in this world. Like, it's
miraculous.
Crazy.
It's going to take a long time. We'll never return to normal. I want everybody to scratch normal off their tongue and their lips, because it's not going to happen. It's going to be a different kind of world. And you're right. I almost feel like, and Frank, I don't want to see you doing this. All right. She gently navigated you to do it on her birthday, because you actually literally just missed the cutoff point. And what you're saying is absolutely right. And it does take a long time to cultivate and hone every little piece of your material. In the same token, I kind of feel like Michelle about like once you do cultivate it and you feel like it works and you trust yourself in the process, you can move on. You don't have to keep going up all the time. And you took that risk, which I think was one of the most prudent risks that you've taken. You went out there, you trusted yourself, you shot your special. In a very small amount of time, right?
Yes.
And guess what? It's coming out. Netflix.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and especially as a comedian, I don't know if this ever stops, but you really have to give yourself permission to just fucking do it. You know, there's
Right.
always that, I need to do it more. I need to put it up more. Well, this person who doesn't know anything about comedy is an executive who's never actually done stand-up and gave me this advice, and maybe I should. But also, no, fuck that. Like, you are up there doing it, and you could practice as much as you want, but it doesn't matter as long as you're on the stage, right? And so what I was saying before we were talking about the special is that barking, you know, 2-3 shows at night and then go working overnights at NBC, that kind of that kind of hustle is the best kind of education for comedy I could ever have, and that definitely helped me get my comedy period so I could grow up to be a young I don't even understand words, but you and Rebecca Donahue put me in a corner. Like, you were 2 little Jillian Michaels of comedy. You guys were like, stop barking. You're way better than this. Just stop. And that's the thing, like, and I remember that moment I was like, am I good enough? Are you sure? And it took my friends to tell me, and then like almost 20 years later, I'm like still slow sometimes, but I have to put myself in a corner and say, stop doing this.
Right, exactly. But we all do that. You always have to stay positive. We are cruel to ourselves. We do that, you know, but then you can, you know, you have to, what you emit is what you kind of get back, but you always have that innate deep down inside, the confidence. You work very, very hard. And one of the things that I respect most about you, and I tell you every single time that I see you, is that you worked so hard and you did it on your own. You had very little help, but you did it on your own, and you were committed. You stayed the course. You busted your ass.
I'm a big fan, but I you know, doing it on your own also is like, I don't like to ask for help, but I also think people should figure it out too. I can't tell you, it's such a pet peeve of mine when someone's like, can I sit you down for coffee and pick your brain? How do I make money doing comedy? I always say the same thing. I don't have time for coffee. And just be funny, and everything else will follow. It doesn't even matter if you're an asshole.
Right.
If you're fucking funny.
If you're just starting out and you're asking,
don't ask shortcuts. You don't have stamina.
If you're just starting out and you're asking, how do I make money doing comedy? You're asking the wrong question.
Yes, exactly.
The wrong question in a lot of fields in show business. It's like you just have to get out and get the experience. Especially in stand-up comedy, you just have to get up and do it as much as you can. And then, you know, for me, for you, for all of us, it's just, then things just kind of work themselves out, and things happen. But it would not
trust the process.
For my career, I can say none of it was anything I could have predicted would have happened or planned. You know, it just, you know.
Yeah, I know how you feel, because I had high hopes. Yeah, you know what? No, I should shut the fuck up. Listen, you do have to just trust. And there are a lot of negative voices in my head, always chirping around my head, but you have to trust. And if somebody's looking for a shortcut, there ain't a shortcut in comedy. This is one of the hardest. It's like trying to go to war without going to boot camp. It's impossible.
But the thing is too, is that there's no shortcut with anything. I mean, you've trained me for years and years and years. At one point, like and my book is called Survival of the Thickest, because the bitch will never not be thick. You know, I'm just working out to fit into my workout clothes at this point. When I was working out, but it's just like, you have to work at something. Even my relationship, I treat my relationship like I treat comedy. It's a hustle. It's hard work. You have to enjoy it. You have to be
open. You gotta get the stage time.
Yeah, you have to also, it's very love and hate, just like comedy. My relationship. I'm sorry, were we talking about you?
Oh, the Greek Julia Roberts. I love it.
I love that you say that to me. I love it. So what are you talking?
Oh my God, you guys are like the low budget Julia Roberts and oh my God, what's his name from Pretty Woman?
Who? Richard Gere?
Yes, you're the Richard Gere.
Oh, well, you know what? I left I'll go get my gerbil and we can really go to town.
Oh, man. Too soon. Oh, God.
Hey, he's a pet lover. What's the problem?
As long as that gerbil was black or brown, I'm okay with it.
Right, okay. I'm sure. But I'll tell you something, you know, it's how you look at things, you know. He's either a pet lover or a pet hater. It's our perspective. It's true. Michelle, So your book now, you really said that you opened up in your book, and you really unleashed. And I know that you were a little nervous about that because you become vulnerable when something. I've talked to other people that have authored books, and once it's out there, you do feel a little vulnerable. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're talking about that made you feel that way in the book.
Oh man, well, a lot of like editors and publishing agents are like, well, you do stand up and you put it out there anyways. And that's how they sound in my mind. And there's just something so different about storytelling in a dark room where it just doesn't get recorded. It doesn't end up everywhere. It doesn't define you in print forever. You don't have to do a book tour and constantly explain what these 7 stories mean. And so, yeah, it is very different to write anything. It's just a different form of expression. And some people are really good at it. And for me, it was very, very hard because, at first when I was writing it, it was so jokey that I'm like, this feels insincere. And then when I was just sort of half awake or half asleep, I just like kind of threw up a lot, like on the page. And can you imagine? I was just, like on the toilet, just no. But and I was like, well, I don't know who this is for, but for me, it's just about getting it done. And that's another thing I've learned through this book. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be fucking done. And that's a huge lesson for all of us, because the most talented people I know will just talk themselves in a corner and be like, I have this idea, but I have this idea. Who gives a fuck? Everyone's got a fucking idea. It's just like, how confident are you going to be when you tell somebody about that idea? Just get it fucking done. So, I Jillian Michael'd myself, although I don't really like her. I don't know why I keep bringing her up, but you get it. And I Richard Simmons myself. And
I'm Richard Simmons too, bitch. I am when I teach.
That's true. That's true. So I talk about my IVF journey and how misogynistic healthcare is, and
I love that.
It really, but it's you're really damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Want a baby, not want a baby, have extra weight. People, we don't know anything about our bodies unless something goes wrong. That's crazy. Like, people know more about a car engine than your own body. That's fucking wild. Dealing with heartache and being the funny clown is fucking hard. So there's some of that, and then also there's a lot of single in your 20s and what dating looks like, and growing up very Catholic, and then being able to sort of own and find your sexuality in your 20s without having that voice in your head saying you're a bad person because you like sex. It's like, this is sort of like my coming of age moment in my 40s.
Wow.
Putting this out there. So, I don't even know if people will like it. I know my mom will be mad at me for something. That's inevitable.
Well, I've heard.
Yes. But,
I heard one author, Anne Lamott, actually, who wrote a great book about writing called Bird by Bird. And she said that when you're writing, you just have to brace yourself. You're going to piss off your family. You're going to piss off.
Of course.
Oh, it's a trade-off that you make,
That's a trade-off you make. I want to say one thing. Everything that you've told me, I know Michelle for 20 years now. And I want to say, Michelle, these are all the things that I wondered if you were going to talk about. I wanted to know if you were going to talk about your cat. This is a huge compliment, because if I'm thinking it, this is what you're opening up and making yourself vulnerable. We already know that you're funny. I always wondered what it was like being raised extremely Catholic. And I'm glad that you go into that. And I know how important it was for you to have children or a child. I remember that. I was there with you when you tried one after the next, the disappointments, the heartache. I actually cried a couple of times with you. I was so heartbroken for you, and I loved you. And when you actually told me that you were pregnant, I actually started crying. I was crying because I knew for how many years you tried to have a baby, and there's other stuff, and you have to deal with health issues. And so you're really going in deep and talking about this. And I think that's what, when you tell your life and somebody's going to judge your life, no one has the right to judge your life, okay? Because you're telling your story, your life, and you really went deeper than you're ever used to going, because as comics, like you said, we go here, we wear that mask.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to wear a mask, but not in the way we're talking.
Exactly. And stay back 6 feet.
But also wear your mask. Yeah. I mean, you know, talking about Jersey, being from Jersey, I didn't realize how much I just hated it. I just hated
I didn't know
place.
you were from Jersey until I saw, do you believe I never knew? I saw that. Yeah.
Well, when I look back at the memories that just like off the top of my head that I was like, oh, I have to add something good about Jersey. Mm-hmm. But it was just a really tough, neighborhood to grow up in. It was a nice neighborhood, but that isn't always the best choice when you're the only Black family on the block. And then you just constantly have to explain yourself to people, including adults. And so, just going through that whole, and especially now to talk about the racism of it all, it does feel, God, a race revolution within a pandemic is like, what the fuck, universe? Thank you so much.
Yes, you know what?
Okay, like I hope the drying cycle is over soon, universe, because I'm fucking exhausted.
It's a global goddamn enema. That's what it is. We're being purged. Good.
It's a coffee enema, because the best part of waking up is Folgers in your butt. What is she doing? But yeah, I mean, to talk about like my high school best friend, this Italian chick who loved Puerto Rican guys and Black guys, and her mom like said, "You're turning my daughter into a nigger lover," and just like the way that word was thrown around with me growing up, and just talking about those experiences with people now, and they're like rolling their eyes like, here she goes again. But look where we are now. One of the essays I wrote is called A Light Load, and it's basically me just sort of explaining what it's like being a light-skinned Black person, not just in America, but in the world, because you do tend to experience racism for other countries. People think I am a fat Brazilian or a fallen Muslim Moroccan. It is fucking what? Wow. Yeah, walking down the street in Holland with my husband in his neighborhood in Amsterdam, it was a Moroccan neighborhood, and like they would talk shit about me, and I'm like, well, damn. Like, we just have to fucking be free and love each other and love yourself. This is fucking bullshit. Right. I grew up that way, and I cannot die that way. The end, goodbye. Too cute for this shit. Right. So yeah, survival of the thickest, man. Plus size essays in a small-minded world. Oh,
I love it. Michelle, your book, we're running out of time. I'll tell you something. Your book, I can't wait to get it and read it, and I want you to sign it for me. I know it's going to be so great. I know I've been there for a lot of this journey, and I'm so happy that you're showing this side of yourself to the world, and they need to see it, and they need to know you on a broader scale. I love you so, so much. When is your, where can people buy your book? When is your special coming out?
Okay, so special is going to be called Welcome to Butopia. It's coming out, I believe, in October on Netflix. I'm also going to be doing 2 more seasons of The Circle on Netflix, and that's amazing because the seasons will be back to back, so people can, get their circle fixed, because I want to know what's going to happen too. The book is available for pre-order now, wherever you pre-order books. I don't know your journey, but it's called Survival of the Thickest, and it'll be out December 8th. So perfect gift in time for Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, non-denominational, whatever the fuck you celebrate or don't. Who gives a fuck? As long as the wine is cold.
That's right, baby. I'm jealous that you're doing it. Steve actually loved that title. Well, thank you so much for being here. We love you so much. I love you. I'm Irene Bremis, at Irene Bremis 13. Instagram, follow me, please do. And I have an album out called Un-ladylike, because what the fuck is a lady? I hate that. I hate those perimeters. They suck. Frank, the Great, anything you want to end on? And
well, you can find my books at Amazon, and
great books.
And other than that, you can just find me wandering the streets in my mask.
and wear your goddamn mask, people. Yes. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Michelle, Frank. Mwah.
Love you
Love
all.
you guys.
See you soon. Zoom. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.